Okay, so now we have 2 and 7 6 minus 1 and 5 6. 7 6 subtract 5 6 is how much, little b? 7 6 minus 5 6. 2 6. And then Sabrina, 2 minus 1. 1. Okay, let me move. I'm going to move to the whiteboard so that we can see this a little bit better. All right, so one more. 4 and 1/4 minus 2 and 3/4. I want you guys to try solving this one on your own, please. So when we're adding and subtracting fractions, before we can have to worry about anything else, what do we have to check? Raise your hand to tell me. Amelia.
If you have to regroup it.
Okay, before that, what do we have to do? Eli G.
Well, actually, I was going to say that I want to share my thinking.
Okay, well, we're not going to right now. Could I subtract, or could I add this number the way it is?
No.
No, why not? Ashton. No, so the very first thing when we're looking at subtracting is, do we have a common denominator? Do we have a common denominator in this case? Everyone can tell me. Yes. Can we subtract it the way it is?
No.
No, so what do we have to do?
Regroup.
Okay, so if we take 1 whole out of 4, we get 3. How do we make 1 whole into a whole with fractions? Eli?
4/4.
4/4. So now we have 3 and 5/4. Subtract 2 and 3/4. Can we solve this now? 5 minus 3 is?
2.
And 3 minus 2 is?
1.
Okay, can we do anything else with this 2/4? Raise your hand. Kennedy, we can make this a half if we're simplifying. Thumbs up?
No.
Okay, one more thing we're going to do for practice, and then we're going to move into our lesson. This is a compound number. How can we make this into a fraction? Who remembers? Gavin Kesko.
You multiply 5 and 2,
Yeah.
and you add 3.
Okay, so Gavin's saying we multiply 5 plus 2, which gives us 10 plus 3, which gives us 13/5. How can we also write 2 as a fraction if we're doing it in wholes? We're talking about fifths, so it would be what? 5/5. And then we have another whole, 5/5 plus 3/5. 5 plus 5 plus 3 equals? Do we get the same answer? Okay, so we can do it either way, either way makes more sense to you. All right, whiteboards down. You can erase them, please. And then we're going to open up to our math journal, page 25. Okay, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes on your own to look at Abby's method and to look at Marco's method. So finding the difference between these two fractions. We have 4 and 1/3 and 2 and 7/15. Take a minute, 2 minutes to look in that blue box on your own. See how you can follow along with their work and figure out what they were doing to solve these problems. When you think you have figured out what each person did, put your pencil in your math journal and close it. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to get with a partner. So pause. If you have not finished, then find somebody who has a closed math journal, which shows you that they think they've figured out what these two students did differently, and work with them. So if you still have your math journal open, should you be sitting with somebody who still has their math journal open? No, okay. Please get together with somebody and discuss what you discovered. And wrapping our conversation up in 3, 2, 1, and we're all back together. If you moved, please move back to your original, actually stay where you are, because I'm gonna have who feels comfortable sharing with everybody what they think Abby did. Maggie, well, you can come up and show us.
So me, Kennedy, and Little B were talking about so she does what we do. Like if it's not the common denominator, you have to change it, and then you subtract it.
Okay, so it's not the common denominator, you have to change it and then subtract it. Okay, who wants to compare how Marco did it? Gavin.
So what Marco did was he just decided to ungroup it and turn it into a fraction and times it by 5 to get something equivalent.
Ooh, I like all those math
And
terms
then
you're using.
He kind of did the same thing for this and did the 65 15ths minus the 37 15ths to find the difference.
Okay, did he get the same answer as Abby?
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
probably, 'cause
Okay, so let's do that. What is 28 15ths if we ungroup it?
then
If
it'd
15,
be 1.
so then we have 28 subtract 15. Look up here.
So then it'd be 3? No.
Yes.
Yeah. 13.
Okay, so did they get the same answer?
Yeah.
Okay, but they used two different methods. You guys can use whichever method you like better. Personally, I think this is a lot more tricky and there are a lot more steps where you might make errors, but that's up to you. If it works for you, you can do that. All right, so, oh, I'm still in. So, what all right, we're gonna practice. We're gonna do 1, 2, and 3 all together. So we have to think about all those things we were practicing today. We have to think about all the different steps. Okay, so our first thing, we're subtracting. Do we have common denominators? Was our first thing to look at. Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Do we have a common denominator?
Yes.
We have fifths and tenths. Are those the same?
No.
No. Okay, so then we have to make them have common denominators. Our first step was to see if one fits into the other. Does one fit into the other? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Yes. Okay. So we are going to make 5 into a 10 by how, JJ?
5 into 10 factor by 2.
Okay. Whatever we do to the bottom, everyone. We have to do to the top. So this is going to equal 5 and 4/10. Subtract 3 and 7/10. Everybody agree? Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Ruby? You agree? Okay. So now we have to look at, can we subtract these numbers? Can we take 7/10 away from 4/10?
Yes.
Can we take 7 away from 4?
No.
No, we can't. We can't subtract 7/10 from 4/10. So now what do we have to do? Who remembers? Andrew.
Regroup.
We have to regroup. So we're going to take a whole out of the 5 and make it a 4. And what's our fraction going to become? Benjamin. Oh, 14/10. So now we have 4 and 14/10. Subtract 3 and 7/10. Can we solve this now?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so 14/10 minus 7/10 equals, Julia, 14 minus 7. 7. And then everybody, 4 minus 3. Okay, please write that down. You write the answer in your math journal. You don't have to do all the work, you can just write the answer. We'll do all the work together in a minute. So 1 and 7/10 should be next to number 1 in your math journal. Pencils down when you're ready for the next one. All right. Now we have 8 and 1/4 plus 2 and 4/5. Very first thing when you're adding and subtracting fractions, everyone, what do we have to look at? Everybody. The denominators. Are they the same?
No.
So what do we have to do?
Common denominator.
We have to make them, so does one fit into the other, our first step?
No.
No, so what is our second step? Gavin?
Make them
Multiply them
Okay,
together.
so everybody, let's skip count by 4s. 4,
8,
12,
16, 20.
24. Okay, let's go to 5. Skip counting by 5s. Everyone, 5.
10,
Whoa,
20.
Did anyone spot a common denominator?
Yes.
Andrew?
I spotted 20.
20 is in both of the numbers. So our common denominator, we're going to make it into 20s. 20ths. How do we change a 4 into a 20? Raise your hand. Abby?
If you have to do it by times it by 5.
Okay, so everyone, what we do to the bottom?
We do the top.
All right, so now we have 5 20ths. Don't forget our 8. How do we get from 5 to 20? Audra?
Multiply it by 4.
Multiply it by 4. What we do to the bottom?
We do the top.
So 4 times 4 is, everyone?
16.
16. We can't forget about our 2. Whoops. 8 and 2. Can we add these together now? All right. Add them together on your math journal.
It's an improper fraction.
And put your pencil down when you have added it together. Okay, so 15 plus 16 equals
21.
21 20ths. 8 plus 2 equals, everybody?
10.
10. Did we notice anything about the
Improper.
fraction? Okay. Abby, Eli, you just go with that stand. You're okay, just careful where you are. Abby, what do we do with this?
You make it a big 11.
We make this, we pull a hole out of here. What would that hole be? 20 20ths, right?
20th, which is 1 whole.
Okay. So then we add it to 10, we get 11. How many 20ths are we left with? 1 20th, 11 and 1 20th. Okay, we're gonna. Okay, let's look at number 3. Where did it go? Here we go. All right, we're doing another subtraction. So our first step is to look at,
The denominator.
everybody, what is our first step to look at? So we have an 8 and we have a 12. Our next step is to make it, Gavin,
Common denominator.
common denominator. What is the first thing we look at, Eli G?
We can multiply these and see what can match.
What was our checklist though? The very first thing that we were gonna look at, Eli, K,
Look at the multiples.
right? Before that, Andrew, remember?
See if they fit.
See if they fit into each other. Can we put 8 into 12? No. So Eli G was suggesting now we multiply them together, but before we multiply them together, what was our second
The
strategy?
multiples.
Do the multiples. So this is gonna get tricky. We have 8. What's our next one? And then we have, and then we have,
32.
all right, let's try 12. See if we have to keep going. 12 and then, do we have anything common? 24. So we're going to use 24s. If we had multiplied 8 by 12, Eli G, what number will we get?
24.
No, if we multiplied these two together.
No, I wasn't raising my hand.
Okay, if we multiply these together, we would get 96, right? Which is a way bigger number than we really want to work with, because this is much simpler having the 24. That's why we write out our factors first to find our common factor. Okay, so how do we go from 8 to 24? Gavin Tesco. Multiply it by 3. Everybody, whatever we do at the bottom,
We do the top.
okay, so 1 times 3 is 3, 8 times 3 is 24, we still have our 7. Make sure you're writing this in your math journal while I'm writing. Remember, you guys need to put yourselves in a spot where you can see to do math. Okay, so we are sticking with our 24s. How do we get from 12 to 24?
Times it by 2.
Okay, whatever we do to the bottom.
We do the top.
Okay, so we have 5 times 2 is 10. We have 4. All right, so now we have 7 and 3 24ths. Subtract 4 and 10 24ths. Please solve that.